Bear Nation, how we doing? I wanted to jump in here and record a quick intro as this episode was kind of a product of a longer episode. So we have Matthew Sawyer, who is an adjunct professor at NYU, had me on in to do a couple guest lectures with his class. And he has a new book coming out here in November called Make It in America. And it's pretty cool. We have a longer episode talking about that book and the impact that he was trying to make, which comes out later in November. But we got into this little hot take about a key kind of startup mistake we see a lot of people make, especially when they're trying to come into the U.S. market or launching a new product or service. And so that's what we get into in this episode. So check it out. Let me know what you think about it. We'll have the longer episode with Matthew coming out later in November. Um, and we got some cool stuff coming up for November, December. I just got back from spending some time in Missouri with my twin brother. For those that know me, I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd, hence the Harry Potter tattoo. But my twin brother and I spent our 35th birthday together hosting a Harry Potter themed um, backyard party, which was quite fun with like the house flags and all those things. So I'm back refreshed. I'm really excited about some upcoming episodes with the president of Starbucks, sitting down with the former executive from Reebok, and doing some really great solo episodes, kind of updating on just some of the things and challenges I've been facing and conversations I've been having with many of you listeners out there. And I've been asked to cover some key topics. And so I want to make sure that we use that end of the year to talk about that, and really excited about some things coming up. So tune into this episode with Matthew Sawyer and find out if you're making the startup mistake and how to overcome it. And as always, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, rate, review, be a tier one. Unsubscribe and resubscribe. It helps us. Appreciate y'all. Bear Nation. Till next time, stay well. Rise up. Bear Nation, how are we doing? This is your host, Rob Napoli, and a little bonus episode. I have Matt Sawyer back on. Matt is a business and marketing strategist who teaches brand strategy, business strategy, marketing comms at Columbia and NYU, and formerly at Parsons, and has a book that will be coming out in November of 2022 called Make It in America. And if you haven't had a chance, we did a full episode about the book and kind of his story and what he wanted to make an impact on. But one of the things we were talking about pre-show that didn't make it into the episode that I wanted to talk about was Matt's hot take about entrepreneurship that is kind of contrary to popular opinion. And I think this is great. And Matt, you'd said to me, understanding culture in marketing is more important than product or services. And I would love to have you expand on that a little bit. I have a big opinion on this as well, but I want to like let you share yours
Yeah.
first. 'Cause I thought that was a great. It's kind of a great hot take.
Well, thank you. And hello, Bear Nation. Yeah, we were talking about just in terms of this idea, so many in terms of new companies and entrepreneurs, so focused in on the product, getting the best product together and best service, and then miss out in terms of, where it's going to land, understanding the context of the the customer, where it's going to land, and sort of understanding the cultural aspect of it. So in my book, I talk a lot about that. I had worked with, there's a group out of Finland, the Hofstede Insights. The Hofstede, it was based on 30 years of research in 100 and plus countries in terms of what are the cultural differences, to talk about that. But one example that I had from the book, and it's a case study in the book, it's about a German window company called Menk. And so in 2014, this German window company, which had been in business for over 120 years in Germany, making very fine, high-end windows, decided that they're going to expand their U.S. business by coming here. They set up a joint venture with another company. They built a $10 million factory. And then 2 years later, they closed the factory and that subsidiary went bankrupt. And the reason for it is that they didn't understand the culture. So, for example, in Germany, people use windows where you tilt and you twist and you pull it into a room. Where in America, we use either double hung windows or casement windows that go out. The other thing is that, energy costs. So their high energy efficient windows that they had there were twice as or three times as much money as these other windows. And Americans, because the cost of energy here, it's gotten a little bit, more equal, but with so much less than Germany, that wasn't as much of an issue. So it's really they'd misread the whole cultural aspect as well as a lot of other mistakes they made in terms of understanding the talent that they were bringing in. But in that particular case, they were so focused in on their product and they didn't look at these other aspects in terms of the culture and the environment. So we get into a bunch of things like that in the book.
Awesome. Well, I find it very interesting because, in my opinion, I see this happen a lot. Is similar to what you're saying is there's a lot of great product and services, and in fact I think a lot of startups that are in today's market are all derivative of each other. They're like, how can I 1x this, or here's a new feature, or this layers on top of this. So a lot of things are derivative, or it's like, hey, this is doing really well, this technology, let me build something similar, right? So you just first mover advantage versus second mover advantage. The difference that really helps a company grow and scale is, do you understand who you're selling to and why, and do you have the right marketing to that segment? And regardless of product or service, if you don't have the right message and the right value to the customer, you can have the best product in the world and it's not going to sell. And a lot of companies, a lot of founders take so much time trying to make a product or service perfect, they miss out on the market. And so you cannot, if you wait till your product is perfect to start selling and marketing, you're missing out. You're too late.
Yeah.
And
And
so
what is
I
perfect?
find it very important to understand and to make sure that you know that you have a segment, you understand those cultural aspects, and you market to it, and then you let the product develop itself within that frame, right? You have to have it mostly done, right? But to that point, don't take that time to just focus only on the product and service, and really be able to sell it and understand why you're selling and what pain you're solving.
Yeah, definitely the last point you made in terms of what pain are you solving, because every product, it needs to solve a problem. It needs to, whether it's just, I'd love to, have a refreshing drink after my workout or whatever it is, it's solving a problem and sort of understanding like what is their problem, and best is what is the one that solves that problem the best. And so that's where you need to think about, well, defining what best means.
Absolutely. And so this is something that I recommend this book all the time. And it's a book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Hanson. And we are so, especially, I would say more so Europeans, but I'd say globally, I see this happening. Is we're so caught up in that we need to like create this like uniqueness, that we don't look at the market and look at the playbooks that's come before and be like, okay, here's what our competitors that have first mover advantage with a lead market share is doing really well, and here's what they're not. Here's what works and here's what doesn't. Like, go to the market, take what's going well, replicate that in your own kind of brand image, brand tone, all these things, and see what doesn't work well and learn from those mistakes, right? I'm actually working with a company that's doing something really cool. And one of the questions I got is, how are you going to compete in a market that has a company that developed this market 4.5 years ago, and it's very cluttered with other things, but very low on tech? And I said, we know that we're a good fit because we've taken their playbook and we've adapted it. uh, I've also worked in this industry before in the wearable device and helped scale a company globally, so I know that playbook. But we're going to take that. We've already done these things to know what our price point is and what our consumers are willing to spend and not willing to spend. So we have it all set up, and we didn't have to develop it from scratch, right? We looked at what the market told us. We looked at what other companies did. We replicated part of that playbook. We iterated on the playbook on where we thought we could be different, and we really found our own voice and tone so that we could take it to the market. And hopefully we'll do that in 2023. But Like when the VC asked me that question and they heard the answer, like amazing, right? And it just comes back to culturally understanding what the market already is paying for, culturally understanding what the market wants, and then adapting to marketing it to what the real pain is and how we can solve it better.
Yeah.
And
That
it has
yeah,
nothing to
that
do with our product or service. And I think our product is better for 100 different reasons, right? But I'm able to like really sell it to this VC on the fact that those points alone. And so I agree with you, and I see it happen way too many times. People create these cool products and services, and like, well, the product's going to sell itself because it's better than anything on the market, and boom, it's like, yo, not in this market. This market's
right.
too competitive, too big, and too loud. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's going to sell, and you can't just think that, oh, even if I capture 1%, you got to work hard to capture 1% of this market.
Yeah, and on top of that, it keeps on changing. So what might have been perfect in, 2 years ago, or what people were, the expectations, people's expectations keeps on, getting higher and higher and higher in terms of wanting better, wanting it more convenient, more, and so the market keeps on changing. So what might have worked 2 years ago or 3 years ago, might not work today, which for me makes it really interesting because you really have to get in there and do the homework and talk to people and use creativity, and that's where sort of the art and science come into this.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, marketing is with sales, as with business, is really both a science and an art, and you have to understand that, otherwise, you're missing the mark. Um, awesome, Matt. Thank you so much for chopping it up here. Matt's book, "Make It in America." Um, how international companies and entrepreneurs can successfully enter the market and scale. It comes out this fall, November 2022. Pre orders are on sale now. I will link his website in the show notes for you to go check it out. And make sure you check out his other episode about his book and the impact that will be coming out here in a few weeks. So, Bear Nation, thank you so much, Matt. Again, thanks for chopping it up. I appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
All right, Bear Nation, stay well and rise up. Bear Nation, thanks for listening to the Bare Necessities of Entrepreneurship. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review.